Realize your worth is not defined by someone's inability to see it. These words sound simple, but they carry a truth that can transform your life if you live by them every single day. You see, too many times we hand over our sense of value to people who don't even know how to recognize it. We measure our worth by how much someone texts us back, how much attention we get, or how quickly someone praises us. But your worth, my friend, is not a reflection of someone else's opinion. It's a reflection of your own awareness. Let's think about it through something we've all experienced. Imagine you worked really hard on a project. Late nights, extra effort, pure dedication. But when it's presented, your boss doesn't even mention your name. They applaud the team, but not you. You feel invisible. For a moment, it stings, doesn't it? You start doubting yourself. Maybe I wasn't good enough. But pause there. Does their lack of recognition reduce the quality of your work? Does it erase the extra hours you put in? Not at all. The work remains great. The only thing that changed was someone else's perception of it. It's like a beautiful sunrise. Some people are too busy scrolling on their phones to notice it. But that doesn't make the sunrise any less breathtaking. It still shines, warms, and lights up the sky. Whether people appreciate it or not, it fulfills its purpose. That's you. You are that sunrise. You don't need validation to prove you're beautiful or capable. You just need to rise. When you forget your worth, you start shrinking yourself to fit into spaces that were never meant for your size. You stay quiet when you should speak up. You say yes when your heart is screaming no. You tolerate things you shouldn't tolerate, all because you fear losing people who don't even value your presence. But what if losing them isn't a loss at all? What if it's simply life's way of clearing space for those who will see you, not just use you? There's a story I once heard about a teacher who gave his students a crumpled $100 bill. He crushed it, stepped on it, and asked, "Who still wants it?" Everyone raised their hand. He said, "You see, no matter how crumpled or dirty it became, its value didn't change." And that's exactly how you should see yourself. When people reject you, misunderstand you, or underestimate you, they are not reducing your value, they are just revealing their capacity. Some people can't recognize gold because they've only known glitter. Some people walk away not because you are unworthy, but because they can't handle your depth. That's not your flaw, that's their limitation. Think of the greatest diamonds in the world. Before they sparkle, they are hidden deep in the earth, rough, unshaped, unseen. But the lack of recognition doesn't stop their brilliance, it just delays the discovery. When the right person with the right eyes and the right tools finds them, the diamond shines as it was always meant to. In your own life, don't rush the discovery of your worth. Let people misunderstand you. Let them replace you. Let them walk away, because your glow isn't dependent on their glance. Sometimes being unseen is protection. Sometimes being replaced is redirection. The people who can't see your light are often not meant to walk in your glow. You know, in a garden, there are many flowers. Some bloom fast, some bloom late. But the late bloomers are not any less beautiful. They just needed more time to soak in the sun. Don't compare your timeline with someone else's applause. You are growing roots right now. Deep, invisible, powerful roots. And when your time comes, you won't just bloom, you'll flourish so brightly that everyone will wonder how they ever overlooked you. When someone overlooks your worth, don't chase them, thank them silently, because they taught you to find value within yourself instead of waiting for validation from others. Every rejection, every dismissal, every underestimation is secretly strengthening your self-awareness. It's life's way of saying, stop depending on temporary approval for your permanent value. Think of your phone. If the signal drops, it doesn't mean the phone is useless. It just means it's out of range of the right network. The same way, if someone can't connect with your value, it's not your fault. They're just not tuned into your frequency. Remember this: your worth is inherent. It was there before anyone praised you, and it will remain long after they stop. You don't become more valuable because someone compliments you, just like a 100 bill doesn't become 200 because someone says it's amazing. You are already complete. Compliments may decorate you, but they don't define you. So, if someone leaves you, replaces you, or fails to see your efforts, smile. Don't let their blindness make you question your brightness. Your worth is not a discount store that changes prices based on who's buying. It's a diamond shop, closed for those who can't afford respect, open only for those who value rarity. Every morning, look into the mirror and remind yourself, I am not defined by who stayed or who left. I am defined by who I become despite it. That's strength. That's grace. That's power. You owe it to yourself to stop waiting for people to tell you how amazing you are. Start showing it by living a life that reflects your value through your kindness, your patience, your growth, your quiet confidence. Because when you know your worth, you stop running after those who don't. You start walking towards your destiny with calm assurance. And one day, those who underestimated you will look back and realize they didn't replace you, they only released you to rise higher. So never forget, your worth is constant. Others might not always recognize it, but that's okay. The sun doesn't stop shining just because some people close their curtains. Keep shining, keep growing, keep knowing you were never ordinary. You were always extraordinary, they just didn't look closely enough. Don't chase who left, chase the best version of yourself. These words might sound simple, but when life breaks your heart, or when people walk away, they become the hardest truth to live by. Because when someone leaves, whether it's a friend, a partner, or someone you deeply trusted, it feels like a piece of your soul walked out the door with them. You start wondering what went wrong, what you could have done differently, or how you can make them come back. But chasing after someone who chose to leave is like running after a train that already left the station. You'll only exhaust yourself while the train keeps moving further away. When people walk away, they often leave behind questions, emptiness, and self-doubt. But what if I told you that their exit isn't the end of your story? It's the beginning of your transformation. Sometimes, life removes people not to punish you, but to push you towards growth. Imagine you're standing in front of a mirror after a heartbreak. Your eyes are swollen from crying, your heart feels heavy, and you keep asking, why me? In that silence, you'll hear a small voice inside you whisper, because now it's your turn to rise, to rebuild, to rediscover who you truly are. You see, when we chase people, we lose sight of ourselves. We start editing our personality just to please them. We laugh differently, talk differently, and sometimes even dream differently just to fit into their world. But one day, when they leave, we look in the mirror and realize we don't even recognize who we've become. That's why chasing them never brings peace. It only deepens the emptiness. Think of it this way: when a bird leaves the nest, it doesn't mean the sky is empty. It just means the bird found its direction. Your sky is still vast, still beautiful, and still full of possibilities. Don't stare at the one who flew away. Instead, spread your own wings. You might discover that you were never meant to stay grounded. You were meant to fly. Let's take a simple example from daily life. Imagine you lose your favorite job. At first you panic. You question your worth. You wonder how you'll start over. But after a few months, you find a new opportunity, something more aligned with your passion, something that makes you feel alive again. Looking back, you realize that losing that job was a blessing in disguise. The pain that felt unbearable was actually a redirection. The same happens with people. Sometimes life removes them so that you can meet yourself. When you stop chasing who left and start focusing on who you're becoming, everything changes. Your mornings start feeling lighter. You no longer wake up checking if they texted. You wake up checking how far you've come. You start investing in your health, your mind, your peace. You start reading, learning, growing, things you once postponed because you were too busy chasing someone else's approval. That's what it means to chase the best version of yourself. The best version of you isn't bitter. It isn't desperate. It doesn't beg to be seen. It shines naturally. The best version of you forgives, learns, and moves forward with quiet strength. It's not about revenge or proving them wrong. It's about proving to yourself that you can be whole even after being broken. There's a beautiful story about a sculptor. He took a rough piece of stone and started carving it slowly. Day by day, people would pass by and laugh, saying, "Why are you wasting your time on that ugly rock?" The sculptor smiled and kept working. Weeks later, when he unveiled it, it was a magnificent statue. The same people who mocked him stood in awe. He said, "The statue was always inside the rock. I just removed what didn't belong." That's exactly what happens when you stop chasing people and start focusing on yourself. You start removing doubt, fear, and dependency until the masterpiece inside you shines. If someone left you, let them go. Don't chase closure from people who broke your peace. Their absence is not your punishment, it's your freedom. Instead of running behind them, run towards your dreams. Instead of texting them again, write your goals down. Instead of crying over the door they closed, build a new one that leads to your purpose. Think of the times you watered a plant that never grew. You gave it sunlight, care, attention, but still, it didn't bloom. Eventually, you had to stop and plant a new seed. That's life. Some people, no matter how much love you give, will never grow with you. And that's okay, because there are seeds of your own growth waiting for you to nurture them. When you shift your focus from them to you, miracles begin. You start realizing how much power you actually have. You notice the things that make you smile again, the hobbies you neglected, the dreams you forgot. You rediscover your strength in solitude. You start walking alone, but this time with peace instead of pain. You become unstoppable the moment you realize that your happiness was never supposed to come from someone else's presence. It was always supposed to come from your own self-awareness. Chasing others gives them the power to define your worth. But chasing your growth gives you the power to define your destiny. Remember, you can't build your future by staring at closed doors. You can't find peace by holding on to what's gone. The moment you turn your energy inward, the world opens new paths. You'll meet new people, experience new joy, and find a deeper purpose. And when you finally become that better version of yourself, the one who doesn't chase but attracts, you'll realize that losing them was never your loss. It was your awakening. So stop asking why they left. Start asking what you've learned. Stop wondering if they miss you. Start making sure you don't miss your own potential. You are not behind anyone. You are on your own divine timeline. Every step you take towards becoming the best version of yourself is a silent victory. Because one day, when you've built a life full of peace, purpose, and joy, you'll look back and smile, not because they came back, but because you didn't need them to. You found yourself, and that's the most beautiful thing anyone can ever find. Grow silently, that's how you prove them wrong. These words hold a quiet power that can change the way you see your struggles, your setbacks, and your journey. In a world where everyone wants to be seen, where everyone wants to announce their success, there's something incredibly powerful about staying silent while you grow. Because real growth doesn't need noise. A seed doesn't scream when it becomes a tree. It just keeps pushing through the dirt, through the darkness, through the silence, until one day it breaks the surface and stands tall, unshakable, undeniable. When someone hurts you, replaces you, or doubts you, your first instinct is to prove yourself. You want to show them that they were wrong about you. You want to post it, shout it, make them see. But here's the truth. When you're busy proving people wrong, you're still giving them power. You're still letting them control your focus. But when you grow silently, you reclaim that power. You shift your energy from proving them wrong to becoming so right that you no longer care what they think. Think about a time in your life when you were underestimated. Maybe someone told you, "Oh, you'll never make it." Or maybe they laughed at your dreams, made you feel small, invisible. In that moment, you had two choices: argue with them, or let your actions do the talking. The people who truly make an impact in this world always choose the second. They walk away from noise and walk toward purpose. They let time, effort, and results be their response. Let's take a simple daily example. Imagine someone criticizes your work, saying you'll never succeed in your small business. Instead of arguing, you stay focused. You wake up earlier, you learn more, you serve your customers better. Months pass, and one day your business starts thriving. The same person who doubted you now asks for your advice. That's the beauty of silent growth. It doesn't fight for attention, it earns respect. Silence is not weakness. It's strength under control. It's choosing not to waste energy on explaining yourself to people who never cared to understand. Because no matter how clearly you speak, some people will only hear what they want to hear. So why argue with ignorance when you can walk your way to success? Have you ever noticed how the strongest trees make the least noise? The wind can blow, storms can rage, but they stand firm. That's what growth in silence does. It roots you so deeply in self, belief that no rejection, no gossip, no betrayal can shake you. In today's world, everyone wants instant validation. We post every little achievement online just to feel seen. But what if you didn't? What if you let your results surprise people instead of announcing them? There's something magical about walking into a room where people once underestimated you and watching their faces change because of how much you've grown. That silent confidence is louder than any argument you could ever have. I remember a story about a young student who was constantly mocked by his classmates because he wasn't good at speaking English. They laughed whenever he made a mistake. Instead of fighting back, he stayed quiet and started practicing daily. He read books, watched videos, and practiced in front of the mirror. Years later, he became a motivational speaker, addressing thousands in fluent English. When asked what kept him going, he said, "Their laughter was my background music while I practiced." That's what it means to grow silently, to turn noise into motivation and pain into progress. Sometimes people leave you thinking they've outgrown you. But what they don't realize is that you're not done growing yet. You're still becoming. So don't rush to prove them wrong today. Your tomorrow will speak for you. Every silent hour of work, every unnoticed effort, every lonely night you spend trying again and again, it's all part of your silent preparation for a powerful revelation. Even nature works that way. Think about the bamboo plant. When it's first planted, it doesn't show any visible growth for years. You water it, nurture it, and still nothing. But beneath the ground, its roots are spreading wide and deep. Then one day, in just a few weeks, it shoots up taller than any other plant around it. That's you. Maybe right now, no one sees your progress. Maybe people think you've failed, but deep down, you're preparing for a breakthrough that will speak louder than words ever could. The most successful people often go silent during their hardest times. They stop posting, stop explaining, stop trying to convince others, because they know that storms don't need witnesses. They just need endurance. They go within, build quietly, and return stronger. When they finally rise, it looks sudden to others, but in truth, it was years of silent effort finally blooming. There's peace in silence. When you stop reacting to negativity, when you stop explaining your journey to those who don't understand, you create space for growth. Your mind clears, your energy refocuses. And that's when you start building something truly extraordinary. Because your success doesn't need approval, it needs consistency. So, when someone underestimates you, don't fight them. Don't try to prove your worth with words. Prove it with results. Let them think you're done while you quietly prepare your comeback. Let them believe you're broken while you rebuild stronger than before. Let them walk away thinking you'll never rise again, because one day they'll turn around and see you standing taller than ever, shining with the glow of silent victory. Growing silently doesn't mean being passive. It means being wise enough to know that not everyone deserves a front row seat to your progress. It's about choosing peace over proving, action over attention, growth over gossip. Because when you rise quietly, your success echoes in ways noise never could. So, the next time someone doubts you, smile. The next time someone walks away, let them. The next time life challenges you, don't announce your plans, just prepare. And when the right time comes, your growth will speak for itself. You won't need to prove them wrong. Your success will whisper it for you, quietly, gracefully, powerfully. Never let rejection lower your reflection. Those few words hold the power to completely reshape how you see yourself and how you handle life's toughest moments. Every one of us faces rejection from people, from opportunities, from situations we thought were meant for us. But the truth is, rejection is not a mirror showing your lack of worth. It's a filter revealing what's not aligned with your purpose. When you take rejection personally, you start believing the problem is you. But when you take it wisely, you realize the rejection is often a form of protection, life's gentle way of saying, "Not this door, my friend, there's a better one waiting." Think about the first time you were rejected. Maybe it was a job you really wanted, a person you deeply loved, or a dream you poured your heart into. It felt like a punch in the chest. You questioned everything about yourself, your talent, your looks, your capabilities. You replayed it in your head 100 times, wondering what you could have done differently. But let's pause for a moment and ask, did that rejection truly define your value? Did that one no erase everything good about you? Of course not. Yet so many people let rejection convince them they're not enough. Let's take a simple example from daily life. Imagine a child drawing a picture with all their heart. They run to show it to someone, hoping for praise, but instead, the person says, "It's not that good." The child's face falls. Suddenly, the joy that filled them turns into shame. But the drawing didn't lose its beauty. It just wasn't appreciated by the right eyes. That's exactly how we react to rejection as adults. We hand people the power to define how brightly we shine, but not everyone has the sensitivity to see your worth. And that's okay. Their inability to appreciate your light doesn't mean it's dim. Sometimes rejection comes disguised as failure, but it's actually redirection. You might not see it in the moment because pain blinds your perspective. But looking back, you realize that the job you didn't get led you to the career you truly love. The person who walked away created space for someone who values you better. The plan that failed made room for something far greater than you imagined. Every no is preparing you for a more meaningful yes. There's a story about a young man who desperately wanted to work for a company he admired. He applied again and again, but each time he was rejected. Heartbroken, he started his own business just to survive. Years later, his business grew so big that the same company that rejected him became one of his clients. When asked how it felt, he smiled and said, "Their rejection pushed me to discover my purpose." You see, rejection isn't the end. It's a divine nudge saying, "You're meant for something else." The problem isn't rejection, it's how we interpret it. We look into the mirror after being turned down and think, "Maybe I'm not good enough." But your reflection doesn't change because someone couldn't see your value. The mirror reflects who you are: strong, capable, deserving, No matter who accepts or rejects you, never allow someone's temporary blindness to distort your permanent beauty. Sometimes, the rejection that hurts most comes from people we love. When someone we care about leaves or chooses someone else, it feels deeply personal. But even then, rejection isn't a statement about your lack, it's a reflection of their capacity. Not everyone is meant to see your depth. Some people can only handle you in fragments, not in full. And that's not your fault. You deserve to be seen completely, not partially. Life has a way of testing how much you value yourself. Rejection is one of those tests. It asks, will you crumble because they said no? Or will you rise because you know your worth? Every time you choose to keep believing in yourself, despite being rejected, you pass that test. Every time you refuse to let someone's opinion break your confidence, you grow stronger inside. Imagine if a diamond stopped shining because one person said it wasn't beautiful. Ridiculous, right? Yet that's what we do. We dim our light because of one person's opinion. A diamond doesn't lose its sparkle just because it's surrounded by those who prefer stones. Its value remains the same, waiting for the right eyes to recognize it. You see, rejection is not rejection until you accept it as such. It's just feedback, guidance, a rerouting of your journey. When one door closes, don't stand there knocking with tears in your eyes. Step back, wipe your tears, and notice the hallway full of other doors you couldn't see before. Sometimes, we get so focused on what we lost that we miss what's waiting to be found. It's easy to take rejection personally because we attach our identity to outcomes. If I don't get this job, I'm not successful. If they don't love me, I'm not lovable. But you are not your rejections. You are your resilience. You are your courage to keep going. You are your ability to rise again and again. The world doesn't define your value, you do. And here's the most beautiful truth. The people who reject you today might one day admire the strength you built because of it. The same company that said no might one day want to work with you. The same person who left might one day realize your absence was louder than your presence. But by then, you won't need their validation because you'll have learned that your reflection was always brighter than their rejection. So the next time life says no, don't break. Bow your head for a moment, breathe, and say to yourself, this isn't rejection, it's redirection. Pick yourself up, dust off the pain, and move forward with grace. Keep your reflection clear, your faith steady, and your spirit strong. You are not defined by who left, what failed, or who said no. You are defined by how beautifully you continue to rise after each fall. The mirror doesn't change because of shadows, it still reflects light. So hold your head high, look at yourself with love, and remember rejection doesn't lower your reflection. It only helps you see how bright you truly are. Value yourself like a diamond. Not everyone can afford you. These words may sound poetic, but they hold a deep truth about how you see yourself and how you allow others to treat you. In life, we often give discounts on our worth just to be accepted, loved, or included. We lower our standards, tolerate disrespect, and shrink our light just so others won't feel uncomfortable around our shine. But remember this, a diamond never apologizes for its sparkle. It doesn't become less precious because someone can't afford it. It simply waits for the right hands that know its value. You see, people will treat you based on what you believe you deserve. If you keep undervaluing yourself, others will start believing that too. It's not arrogance to know your worth, it's awareness. There's a big difference between being full of yourself and being sure of yourself. When you know what you bring to the table, you stop begging for a seat. You start realizing that it's better to sit alone than to dine with people who make you forget your value. Think about a jewelry shop. Inside, you'll see all kinds of stones, some cheap, some rare, some priceless. But have you ever noticed that the diamond section is usually locked behind glass? Why? Because diamonds are valuable. They are handled carefully, protected, and not easily accessible. Not everyone who walks into the shop gets to touch them. That's how your life should be. Not everyone should have access to your energy, your time, or your heart. Because when you start giving diamond level effort to people with stone level appreciation, you end up drained, not valued. There's a story of a young woman who always tried to please everyone. She would go out of her way for people who barely noticed her efforts. She feared saying no because she didn't want to disappoint anyone. But over time, she started feeling invisible, taken for granted, unappreciated. One day, she realized that the problem wasn't that people didn't value her. The problem was that she didn't value herself enough to set boundaries. From that day, she began to say no when she needed to. She stopped chasing validation and started prioritizing her peace. And guess what happened? The same people who once ignored her began to respect her. When you value yourself, you teach others how to value you. In your daily life, think about how often you compromise your self-worth just to please others. You say yes when you want to say no. You accept less love than you deserve. You stay silent when someone disrespects you, thinking it's better to keep peace. But real peace doesn't come from silence. It comes from self-respect. You don't have to shout your worth to make others see it. You just have to live in a way that silently communicates. I know my value. A diamond's value isn't based on how many people admire it. It's based on its authenticity, its clarity, and the way it was formed. Do you know how diamonds are made? Under immense pressure and heat, deep within the earth, for thousands of years. That's what makes them strong and beautiful. You've been through your own kind of pressure, heartbreaks, failures, disappointments, but those experiences didn't destroy you, they shaped you. Every scar, every setback, every storm added depth to your shine. You are not fragile glass. You are a diamond forged in fire. Sometimes, people won't understand your worth because they've never met someone like you. They'll try to bargain with your value, offering you attention when you deserve commitment, excuses when you deserve effort, or crumbs when you deserve the feast. But that's where you must remember, just because someone doesn't see your worth doesn't mean you should lower your price. The right people will recognize your value without you having to convince them. The wrong ones will make you question it. Know the difference. Have you ever noticed that fake jewelry is everywhere? Cheap, shiny, easily available, but real diamonds are rare and expensive. The same applies to people. The more genuine you are, the fewer people will understand you. But that's not a sign to change yourself. It's a sign to protect yourself. Don't try to be everyone's cup of tea. Your fine wine, meant to be appreciated by those with refined taste. When you truly value yourself, you stop begging for attention. You stop chasing those who ignore you. You stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You start attracting peace instead of chaos, respect instead of rejection. Your energy shifts from please like me to I like me, and that's where real freedom begins. Think about your phone again. If you drop it, you don't throw it away immediately. You protect it, fix it, take care of it because it's valuable. You wouldn't hand your phone to just anyone because it holds important things. Then why do we hand over our hearts and self-worth so easily to people who don't handle them with care? Value yourself enough to protect your energy the same way. There's something deeply magnetic about a person who knows their worth, not in an arrogant way, but in a peaceful, grounded way. They walk differently. They speak differently. They don't chase, they attract. They don't beg for love. They embody it. They don't fear rejection. They understand that not everyone can afford the price of authenticity. And that's okay, because diamonds don't lose sleep over those who prefer glass. So if you ever feel unwanted, unappreciated, or overlooked, remind yourself, maybe you're just too valuable for the space you're in. Don't dull your shine to fit into someone else's shadow. Keep your standards high, not because you're picky, but because you finally realize your worth. And when the right people come, the ones who see your value, who handle you with care, who don't just admire your sparkle, but understand your strength, you'll be glad you waited. You are not replaceable. You are not cheap. You are not ordinary. You are rare, precious, one of a kind. The world may take time to recognize it, but that doesn't mean you should forget it. So polish your heart, guard your energy, and keep shining. Because the truth is simple. Not everyone can afford a diamond, but that never stops it from being priceless.